Hey, it's Steve. Doing a rut video today. I know it's still several weeks off. Well, several months off for some of us. But it's coming up. A lot of people look forward to it. A lot of people want to know, when should I take my vacation for the rut? Well, the rut is different every year. Now, don't get me wrong. The breeding happens right around the same time every year. I mean, down to within a day or so. But here's why the rut is different every year. Because a lot of times the weather's different every year. And the moon phase is different every year. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the moon phase influences the rut as in it makes the bucks all horny and start chasing does and makes does come into heat and stuff like that. No. But the moon phase does influence deer movement some. For instance, where I hunt in Maryland, during a full moon, it's very tough hunting. Very tough. Other areas, not so much. But let's get into this whole rut timing thing. We all know that in let's say the northern half of the United States, that peak breeding is going to be somewhere around November 15th, maybe a hair later down as you get to the southern part of the northern half. But let's just say it's in the middle of November sometime, okay? That's peak breeding. Peak breeding is not the best time, in my opinion, to be hunting during a rut. Now you're saying, wait, they're peak breeding. They're breeding, they're breeding. Well, yeah. They're locked down with a doe in a thicket, actually doing the wild thing, the horizontal mambo. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's counterintuitive to what a lot of people are thinking, because what we actually want to hunt is the immediate pre-rut, not the whole leading up to the rut and blah, 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 blah. We want to be hunting when does are coming into heat and just starting to come into heat. That way, bucks are more likely to move. Now, I know there's going to be some people that are going to say, well, I hunted Joe Bob's farm and they were in a rut a week before this other farm down the road was. Is that really true? Well, you see, one of the factors that, we don't think about sometimes in a rut is the makeup of the deer herd. Joe Bob's farm down the road may have less does, which means if that farm has less does and there's a doe that goes into heat, well, more bucks are going to chase that doe, hence more movement. Also, what influences the amount of movement that you're going to see is the weather. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. If it was 110 degrees and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, do you think I'd want to be running around out in the sun? No. It's going to suppress deer movement, at least in the daytime. If it's 110 degrees out, yeah, you got this heavy jacket on, you don't want to do much. But when it gets to be 50 degrees at night, hey, everybody feels a lot better and frisky and stuff like that, and the bucks are moving. Take last year, for example. I was down there in Maryland for my yearly rut hunt. Well, it started off okay, and as the week went on, got a little worse and finally petered out. Now, did we mistime the rut? No, we didn't mistime the rut. What happened in our case was we were hunting a very wet area. And as it dried out, as a continuation of a summertime drought, deer were able to move very freely in a lot more area. Hence, we saw very little rut action toward the end of our stay. So when do you need to go? Well, number one, you have to realize that the rut is kind of like the lightning round. Anything's about to happen at any time. Sure, you could sit all day during this period and you may catch one of those midday cruisers, or you might catch one at a cornfield edge in a grove of oaks where there was a bunch of does feeding. You might hunt between doe bedding areas. The main thing I want you to think about, though, is the weather. If you have the freedom, and this is a big deal, if you have the freedom to take sick days or to take long weekends and stuff like that, try doing it around a weather system. I know it's not always possible, but when you can catch cold fronts from, say, the last week in October until about the 20th of November, you get a storm coming in. Yeah, right after that storm, hunt. Right before the storm, hunt. You can tell I still have the cold. But what I'm saying is, get out there and hunt the weather. The weather dictates what a hunter actually sees in the way of rut movement, much more than anything else. Remember, it's going to happen in mid-November. It's going to happen regardless of whether you're there or not. But the timing of when it happens during the daylight is mainly weather driven. So, till next time, I'm Steve.